Babylon, the city that ruled Mesopotamia for 2,000 years. Did the Tower of Babel truly reach heaven? What has become of the Hanging Gardens, one of the seven wonders? What disease killed Alexander the Great in this city? And why did Babylon's god vanish without a trace? 539 BC, Persian soldiers stormed the temple of Marduk. They stole the 7-meter-high golden statue of Babylon's god, which was covered in gold and lapis lazuli. Priest Bel-shimanni watches them take the statue. "Babylon without Marduk is not Babylon," he whispers. The statue vanishes. 2.5 millennia later, its whereabouts remain unknown. Would you like to see how Babylon rose, ruled, and vanished? If you're subscribed, let's begin. Let's go back to where it all began. 1894 BC. Hammurabi becomes king of the small city-state of Babylon. This is nothing special. It is just one of many rival cities in Mesopotamia, such as Ur, Uruk, and Lagash, which are all larger, richer, and more powerful. Ur, Uruk, and Lagash are all larger, richer, and more powerful. But Hammurabi was ambitious. Over the next 43 years, he conquers his neighbors one by one. There are alliances, betrayals, and strategic wars. By 1792 BC, he controlled all of Mesopotamia. Babylon transformed from a small city into the capital of an empire. The Euphrates River flows through it. Trade routes converge here. Hammurabi built temples, walls, and canals. Babylon was no longer just a city. It has become the center of the world. 1754 BC. Hammurabi did something revolutionary. He establishes the Code of Hammurabi, comprising 282 laws carved into a massive black stone stele measuring 2.25 meters in height. These laws cover a wide range of subjects, including theft, trade, marriage, divorce, property rights, and wages. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, comes from this code. However, the law was not equal. If a noble loses an eye, the attacker loses an eye. However, if a slave loses an eye, the attacker pays a fine. Justice is class-dependent. Nevertheless, this is the first time that laws have been written down for everyone to see. There are no secret rules. Judgments are not arbitrary. The stele is displayed in a public place. Babylonian citizens can come and read the laws. This marks the beginning of written justice. 1750 BC. Hammurabi ordered the construction of the Etemenanki, meaning foundation of heaven and earth. This massive ziggurat was 7 stories high and rose 91 meters towards the sky. This is the Tower of Babel, referenced in the Bible. Construction took decades. Thousands of workers carried baked bricks engraved with Nebuchadnezzar's name. Centuries later, Nebuchadnezzar rebuilds the tower. The tower is not just an architectural structure, it is also a statement. It shows that we can reach the gods, we can touch heaven. At the top of the tower is a temple dedicated to Marduk. Priests climb the stairs to perform rituals. From the summit, the Mesopotamian plain can be seen for miles. Babylon is announcing itself to the world. 605 BC. Nebuchadnezzar II becomes king. Babylon had been in decline since the time of Hammurabi, having been conquered by the Assyrians and reduced to a provincial town. However, Nebuchadnezzar changed everything. He rebuilds Babylon, making it the largest city in the ancient world. Its population reached 200,000, a huge number for that period. He rebuilds the city walls, which are so thick that chariot races are held on top of them. He also rebuilt the Tower of Babel, making it even taller than before. He also constructed the Ishtar Gate, which was covered in blue glazed bricks and adorned with golden lions and dragons. This was Babylon's golden age. Nebuchadnezzar ruled for 43 years. Under his rule, Babylon became the richest and most powerful city in the world. 575 BC. Nebuchadnezzar completes the Ishtar Gate, the northern entrance to Babylon. This is no ordinary gate. It is a magnificent structure adorned in blue and gold. Thousands of bricks were fired at high temperatures to achieve the brilliant blue color of lapis lazuli. On the walls, 575 dragon and bull reliefs symbolizing Marduk and Adad. The ceremonial path leading to the gate is lined with 120 roaring lions. During the New Year festival, priests pass through this gate carrying statues of the gods. Foreign ambassadors witness this and are amazed. In 1899, German archaeologists excavated the gate and transported it to Berlin. Today, it is on display in a museum. 600 BC. According to legend, Nebuchadnezzar built the Hanging Gardens of Babylon for his wife, the Persian princess Amytis, who longed for the green mountains of her homeland. He constructed an artificial mountain in the flat Mesopotamian desert. The terraced gardens were filled with lush green plants, trees, and flowing water. All of this was supported by stone arches 75 feet high. These gardens were called one of the seven wonders of the ancient world by Greek writers. However, there is no archaeological evidence. There is zero. They are not mentioned in Babylonian texts. No remains have been found. Did they ever exist? Some historians believe that the gardens were actually located in Nineveh and were built centuries earlier by a different king. Others believe that the gardens are entirely mythical. The most famous monument of ancient Babylon may be entirely fictional. The mystery continues. 586 BC, King Zedekiah of Judah rebels against Babylon. Not a wise move. Nebuchadnezzar marches his army towards Jerusalem. The siege lasted 30 months. The people inside starved to death. They ate everything. Finally, the walls were breached. Nebuchadnezzar's soldiers stormed the city. They burn and destroy Solomon's temple, the holiest site in Judaism. They plunder the gold, sacred vessels, and the Ark of the Covenant. Then they take the survivors to Babylon. 10,000 Jews, nobles, priests, and craftsmen are forced to walk 900 miles through the desert. This is known as the Babylonian exile. They lived in Babylon for 70 years, singing hymns about their lost homeland. By the rivers of Babylon, we sat down and wept. 10 June, 323 BC. Nebuchadnezzar's palace, Babylon. Alexander the Great, conqueror of the known world, is dying. He is only 32 years old. 12 days earlier, after a feast, his fever had spiked. He can barely speak now. His generals surround his bed. Who will inherit his empire? They ask. Alexander whispers a single word: Kratisto, the strongest. Then he died. But there is a mystery here. What killed him? Some say it was poison his generals wanted power. Others claim it was malaria or typhoid contracted from drinking swamp water. Ancient sources disagree on this. Even stranger, his body does not decay. For 6 days, it remains fresh and unspoilt, as if time has stopped. No mummification, it's simply preserved. Alexander conquered Persia, Egypt, and India. He reached Babylon, the ancient center of the world. It was here, in the city of Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar, that the greatest conqueror in history died. His empire fell apart. His generals fought for 40 years, and what of Babylon? The city that buried empires finally captured the man who thought himself a god. 312 BC. Following decades of warfare among Alexander the Great's generals, Seleucus I seized control of Babylon. He founded the Seleucid Empire, a Greek dominion in Mesopotamia. However, Seleucus did not make Babylon his capital. 60 miles to the north, on the Tigris River, he founded a new city, Seleucia. This city was closer to trade routes and easier to defend. Babylon was left behind. Its population began to decline. Greek soldiers occupied Babylon, but they were not interested in Marduk or the Tower of Babylon. Instead, they built Greek temples and theaters. Babylonian culture begins to disappear. Although priests still perform rituals, the number of visitors dwindles. The city, which had reigned supreme for 2,000 years, is reduced to ruins. 141 BCE. The Parthians, a Persian people, conquer Mesopotamia from the Greeks. They don't care about Babylon either. By now, the population has dropped to around 10,000. The Great Walls are crumbling. The Tower of Babel is falling apart. Bricks are being scavenged to build other structures. The canals that used to bring water are filling with silt. By 75 CE, the Greek historian Strabo visited Babylon. He wrote, "The greater part of Babylon is so deserted that one might say the great city has become a desert." By 200 CE, Babylon had been almost completely abandoned. The city that defined civilization for 2 millennia was dying. In Period 2, we will watch it vanish completely. What was Babylon's greatest legacy? Was it Hammurabi's code, the first written laws, the Tower of Babel, reaching for heaven? Or was it the mysterious death of Alexander that tore his empire apart? Drop your answer in the comments. If you're enjoying this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe. From 141 BC to 100 AD, the Parthians ruled Mesopotamia. The Parthians ruled Mesopotamia. Their capital was located in Ctesiphon, on the banks of the Tigris River. Babylon? They were almost unaware of its existence. The population continues to decline. Perhaps only 5,000 people remain, most of whom live in shanties in the ruins of once magnificent palaces. The Tower of Babel is now just a pile of bricks. People are taking these bricks to build their own homes. The Ishtar Gate is being demolished. The canals are blocked. No one is maintaining anything. Babylon has become what it feared most: insignificant. The city that defined civilization for 2,000 years is now just another pile of desert ruins. It has been forgotten. AD 200-300. The Roman Empire controls the Mediterranean and is the greatest power in the Western world. Roman merchants traded throughout the known world. But what about Babylon? Most Romans had never heard of it. It was located far to the east and was under the control of the Parthians and, later, the Sasanian Persians. Roman historians mention Babylon in their books about Alexander the Great. However, they now believe it to be merely a legend, a city from ancient stories. Some confused Romans even think that Babylon refers to Cairo or Rome. The greatest city of ancient Mesopotamia has been erased from the collective memory. Only the Jews remember it in their synagogues. They still sing songs about the rivers of Babylon. 637 CE, Arab armies ravage Mesopotamia during the Islamic conquests. They reach the ruins of Babylon. Almost nothing remains, only crumbling walls, scattered bricks, and sand-covered mounds. Perhaps a few hundred people still live here. The Muslims do not fight for Babylon. There is nothing to fight for. They pass through, set up a small garrison for a short time, and then move on. The new Islamic capital will be Baghdad, which was founded just 50 miles to the north in 762. It becomes everything Babylon once was: rich, powerful, and the center of a vast empire. Meanwhile, Babylon continues to crumble. The Euphrates changes course, submerging part of the ruins. Nature reclaims what humans built. 1258 CE. The Mongols are coming. Hulagu Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, has sacked Baghdad. The Abbasid Caliphate has ceased to exist. The Mongols are sweeping through Mesopotamia from south to north, destroying everything in their path. When they reach the ruins of Babylon, they finish the job. The few remaining walls and residential buildings are also razed to the ground. The Mongols used the old bricks to build their own camps. Babylon is now completely and utterly destroyed. Not a single building remains standing. Only piles of earth and broken bricks are scattered across the desert. No one will live here for the next 500 years. Babylon has become a mound, known to historians as a tell, which marks the site of a former city. 1534 CE. The Ottoman Empire conquers Mesopotamia from the Safavid Persians. Sultan Suleiman, the Magnificent, now rules over these lands. As Ottoman officials survey their new territory, they notice strange mounds near the Euphrates River. "Where are we?" they ask. The local Arabs tell them, Babylon. But the Ottomans pay little attention. It was just barren wasteland. There is no strategic value or resources. They build nothing here. Throughout 400 years of Ottoman rule, Babylon remained as it had been for centuries, a forgotten pile of bricks in the desert. Bedouin tribes occasionally camp here. Treasure hunters conduct random excavations, searching for gold. They find nothing. Babylon's secrets lie buried deep. December 1811. Claudius James Rich, an English East India Company official stationed in Baghdad, hears stories about ancient ruins to the south of the city. An amateur archaeologist, he was keenly interested in Mesopotamia's past. He sets off for the mounds with a small team. They discover massive earthen structures, broken bricks stamped with cuneiform script, and fragments of glazed ceramics. Rich measures everything, makes sketches, and collects artifacts. In 1815, he publishes his findings in a book titled Memoirs on the Ruins of Babylon. Europeans are astonished. The city of Babylon, mentioned in the Bible, really existed. It wasn't just a legend. Rich's work aroused great interest in Europe. After 2,000 years, Babylon had been rediscovered. In 1899, the German archaeologist Robert Koldewey arrived in Babylon, having received financial support from the German Oriental Society. He began systematically excavating the city. Over the next 18 years, his team uncovered the Ishtar Gate, the processional way, and Nebuchadnezzar's throne room. They also found thousands of bright blue glazed bricks featuring gold dragons and lions. However, there was a problem. Koldewey does not just document, he takes them. The Germans dismantled the Ishtar Gate brick by brick and sent it to Berlin. They rebuilt it in the Pergamon Museum. At the time, Iraq was under Ottoman rule and had no say in the matter. Today, tourists in Berlin pass through the Babylon Gate, while at its original site in Iraq, nothing remains. The largest archaeological find in Mesopotamia has been stolen. The 1980s, Saddam Hussein decides to rebuild Babylon, not for archaeological purposes, but for propaganda. He saw himself as the new Nebuchadnezzar, restoring Iraq's former glory. Workers built walls, gates, and palaces on top of ancient ruins. They destroyed any remains that archaeologists could have studied. They used modern bricks, inscribed with the words, "Built by Saddam Hussein, son of Nebuchadnezzar," to glorify Iraq. He even has a palace built for himself overlooking the ruins. UNESCO and archaeologists are horrified. This is not preservation, it is destruction. Saddam doesn't care. He holds military parades in his own Babylon. Then, in 1990, Iraq invades Kuwait. Everything changed. March 2003, the United States invaded Iraq. American military bases were built directly on top of the ruins of Babylon. Helicopters land on ancient streets. Tanks drive over 2,600-year-old bricks. Soldiers fill sandbags with archaeological artifacts. Most of them are unaware of what they are standing on. The damage caused is catastrophic. After Baghdad fell in April 2003, looters descended on Iraq's museums and archaeological sites. Babylon was looted. Thousands of artifacts, including pottery, tablets, and statues, were stolen and sold on the black market. By 2004, archaeologists had assessed the damage and concluded that it was irreparable. The layers of history had been obliterated by war. A city that had survived for 4,000 years did not survive modern conflict. Following years of war and neglect, the Iraqi government decided to restore Babylon in collaboration with UNESCO in 2019. This was a genuine conservation effort, not Saddam's fake reconstruction. Archaeologists documented the remains. They stabilized the walls, protected fragile structures, and removed modern interventions. UNESCO designated Babylon a World Heritage Site. Tourists began to visit again, carefully and respectfully. They walk among the ruins, see the rebuilt Ishtar Gate, not the fake one built by Saddam, and try to imagine what once stood here. Today, Babylon is a symbol, a reminder. The greatest city of ancient Mesopotamia, home to Hammurabi's laws, the Tower of Babel and the Hanging Gardens, survived for 4,000 years, yet was ultimately destroyed by modern greed, war, and ignorance. Yet its legacy lives on. Every law can be traced back to Hammurabi. Every skyscraper reflects the Tower of Babel. Babylon built civilization we have simply forgotten. Final question. What destroyed Babylon? Was it the Mongols who destroyed it in 1258? Or the Germans who stole the Ishtar Gate? Or was it modern warfare and looting that damaged what survived for 4,000 years? Drop your answer below. If this journey through time moved you, hit the like button and subscribe for more Lost Civilizations content. As always, we'll see you in the past.